I know I've kind of just heard behind the scenes, type stuff where it takes a lot to get into this. It takes the proper mindset. It takes an amount of discipline to save before you start investing. You have to be at a certain point in your life. It takes a lot to get into this. And for some people, I've spoken to some on the phone where they go, "Oh, I just wanted you to do it for me." Mm-hmm. I literally had a guy say that the other day. I was interested because I thought you guys were just going to do it all. But so how can people really understand this, walk into this with their eyes wide open? I know that's the main thing you say. What are some of these conflicts maybe you're seeing?
Yeah, I think that we are conditioned as consumers for the easy button and instant gratification.
Right.
Going back to the person, I thought you were just going to do it for me.
Right.
Yeah, great. Well, I could go buy you an amazing property and I could hand it over to you, and then you're gonna hold it. And a year from now, I'm gonna call you up and say, "How's that property doing, Jake?" And you know nothing about the business you got into. You know nothing about real estate, and I could give you the best opportunity. I promise you, that sucker's not going to be performing the way it should be. Right. And so this is where I have a hard time with, and I don't, and I never will do the done for you programs of saying, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna hand somebody a property that is completely ready to go and set up," because there's going to be decisions you have to make, levers to pull when it comes to pricing and optimization down the line. And if you don't understand the game you're playing, you're gonna struggle with it. And there's a lot of really good properties in really good markets that don't make much money, and it's because the owners don't understand the game they're playing.
Right.
And so even if it's no different than I was a big fan of the HGTV shows back in the day, because I used to do a lot of fix and flips. And so I'd watch a lot of those shows, and they'd come in and they'd go in, and some of them, they would find these families that they would redo a house. They would say, "Hey, listen, we're going to come in and redo your house and everything else. And
move that bus."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so you'd see them and they hand this beautiful house over, but you saw how they lived before. You saw what the house looked like before.
Right.
And the expectation was, for whatever reason, they were going to get this beautiful model home back, and it was going to stay like that. And the reality is, it doesn't, right? Because
it's a good point.
They just had this put together for them.
Right.
They didn't go have to really do the hard work and understand what it took and everything else. Not that I love those shows, by the way.
Right.
Move that bus. That
was always a fun one.
makeover.
Yeah.
They're fun. They're great stories. I'm not throwing shade on stories. I'm trying to make a point of those homes don't look like that a year from then. And I was talking to somebody that had a HGTV show, and we were talking about that specifically. And they don't show a lot of that obviously on air, but he said, "You'd be shocked at what the properties look almost the exact same as we got them pre-rehab, pre-redo." Right. After a year of, because the people, that's how they lived, right? That was the way that they lived. And so So that kind of addresses why I don't. Right. I'm not a big fan of the delivering done for you. Yeah. Right. I get people want it. You know, it's nice to just say, "Hey, listen, I don't have time. I don't want to do it." But if I don't have time, it's not a priority. Right. We've talked about that before. And so I always use the time excuse as a judgment on somebody's priorities. Truly. Like, you tell me you don't have time. All I hear is it's not a priority. I don't want to do it. So I'm like, "Hey, listen, good. Right. I'm not here to tell you what your priorities are. I'm not here to set your priorities for you. Right. I'm just reading the room and saying, you just told me you don't have time. That means that you don't have it's not a priority for you. So if it's not a priority, you're not going to do it what it needs to be to do it right." This vacation rental game now has become very mainstream and very mature very quickly, right? We hit the scene like it was gaining popularity. Things were going really good on kind of a regular, nice upward trajectory from 2015 to 19. 2020 hits, COVID hits, boom, it falls off the cliff for 2 weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks, it falls off the cliff, and then boom, it shoots right back up. It's almost like it hit the ground and just had a rocket shoot up, and all of a sudden it just exploded onto the scene as this asset class that became this. Everybody thought it was the end all be all of short or real estate investing. It was like, man, if I had a short-term rental, I was making money hand over fist. It was like having toilet paper during COVID. Yeah, everybody got introduced to this game. In my opinion, in a very kind of dangerous way, because they thought it was easier than it is. And it never was that easy. It was always a game that had a lot of moving parts. Right. And I love it. It's such a fun game because of those moving parts. It allows us different levers to pull to get our unfair share of business. Consumers absolutely love this as an asset class to spend money on. So there's a lot of really good opportunities. The issue becomes, if you don't operate toward the top of the market, because that is what the consumer wants, the consumer's not looking for the best deals. We all look for a good deal, right? But the consumer is not, they're not like going out and searching for the lowest price homes. They're not searching for the best buys. They want the best return on their investment on that experience that they're willing to pay for. And they're willing to pay, we just see it over and over and over again, that they're willing to pay toward the top of the markets. Right. And that doesn't mean, when I say they're paying at the top of the markets, I'm not talking about having to have these massive, huge properties, multi-million-dollar properties. I'm not saying that. It's not the most expensive properties in the market. It's the best properties that are delivering the best experience in every segment of the market. You can have the best budget properties. You can have the best one-bedroom properties, the best two-bedroom properties. But the consumer is choosing the best ones, right? And they're willing to pay you more for it. And so the mistake with short-term rental investing is new investors assume that they're in the real estate game, and they assume and they budget for buying these properties, down payments, maybe paying for some furnishings, but they're not budgeting nearly enough to create these immersive experiences to give the consumer a reason to pay you more money. And because of that, it puts them at a huge disadvantage to the people like us who are willing to do that. And we will crush them in the market when we go market against them. And I'm saying that with,
I just like how you say it.
I mean, I'm saying it in the nicest way possible. You won't compete with us. You just won't. And us being a collective, us of the investors that choose to operate toward the top of the market.
Okay, so we kind of touched on there the problems with these people, the people that you come back a year from now and it goes back the way it was. Okay, so we know what we're not looking for. What is someone that we are looking for? What is the kind of person that we are looking for? The person that says, I have extra time and I'm willing to put the work in. Are there certain things you look for when you're talking to someone that you go, okay, this person's got what I'm looking for?
I look for one thing. It's an attitude. Okay. It's like, hey, listen, do you have the attitude that nobody's coming to save you, that personal responsibility, individual responsibility, like personal, like that extreme ownership of saying, I am willing to go do what it takes to build something for myself, to take care of myself, both lifestyle, financially wise, like we talk about lifestyle, financial freedom. But we say, hey, listen, at the end of every episode, what do I say? Go pick the one thing you can do today to build the life you don't want to take a vacation from. So I look for the person who latches onto the idea that is their responsibility to go build that life. Nobody's coming to save them. I'm going to take all the advantages that I have. I'm going to use the disadvantages that are in front of me and use them as leverage, or figure out how to navigate around them to go say, hey, listen, here's the deck of cards I was dealt. Now, what can I do with this deck of cards to go build a better life tomorrow than I have today? That's all I care about. I just want that person that says, hey, listen, I'm willing to do that. I really worry about the person, and I don't like working with the people that tell me all the reasons they can't do something, because that usually is an attitude that doesn't go away too soon. But I love the people that are like, hey, listen, I don't know how to do this. I know it can be done. And, but I'm willing to do what it takes, whether it's, and it is going to be effort and sacrifice and hard at times and all those different things. And the person that's okay with that is going to, they're going to look back in a year, 3 years, 5 years, and they're going to be shocked at what they built. And those are the people that are really, really fun to work with, because they're willing to learn. What I don't look for is somebody that has all the knowledge or has all the ability to go do everything, because you can learn all that. We can hand you that. The process and the blueprint is in front of you. And so you just have to I look for somebody that has the attitude of saying, hey, listen, I want to capitalize on the advantages, the capital I have, the time I have, the knowledge I have, and I want to be able to leverage those three things into a bigger and better life tomorrow.
Wow, that's a great answer. That's a fantastic answer. Yeah, those are the kinds of people you want to be like in the trenches with too. Even the good times or the bad times, I'd want to be with the person that's like, I don't know how to do it right now, but I'm going to find a way. I'm going to put the time. But isn't it
interesting? Like I've never met anybody that says, I don't want to be around that person.
Yeah.
Yet. So
dude,
we all want to be around that person. Nobody wants. It's like, hey, who do you want in the foxhole with you, right? It's like, I want that guy or that girl. And
that's a good point.
Nobody says they don't want to be that. Right. But how often, or how rare is that person? Because I don't know what it is. Naturally, you find more people that will give you a reason why they don't have the time, why they don't have the money, why they don't possess the knowledge, right? Instead of saying, hey, listen, here's my starting point, whatever that is. I trust that somebody else can show me how to leverage exactly where I'm at, whether it's a really advantageous starting point or a very disadvantaged starting point. There's going to be somebody that can show you how to capitalize on it. And you just, but the attitude, a lot of times when we have things that are stacked against us, when the deck is, maybe not as favorable as we want it, we focus on that, right? And that's where the challenges come. The difference between winners and losers is what they focus on. Winners focus on opportunities, losers focus on challenges. Period.
Yeah.
Convince me otherwise. What do they say? What did
talk to me?
I don't know. What did Charlie Kirk say when he would go to prove me wrong or something?
Prove me wrong. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was some one of those guys.
There was
another guy that did the college debater thing that always had that sign.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Charlie. But it's interesting I'm thinking like, what's the difference between those people? And starting out saying like, I don't know the answer, but I'm willing to find out how. That takes a really it takes courage to be able to tell someone, I don't know how to do this. Like the honesty of saying like, I'm not the best in this area, or it's way easier to kind of, I guess, just deflect, go in your armadillo shell, style and go, I can't do it right now, and deflect the reason, instead of like having to face it, go, I don't know, I'm not the best at this. And that takes like vulnerability to do that. Maybe that's another.
Yeah, I think it is. It's setting that ego aside and saying, hey, listen, I'm willing to set my ego aside.
Yeah.
Maybe not look as good as I wanted to look, or as smart as I wanted to look, or as rich as I wanted to look, and be able to look in the mirror and say, hey, listen, here's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And it's so important to acknowledge where you're at if you want to have any chance of getting to the better, wherever you want to go, because you can realistically leverage whether you're at. It doesn't really matter where you're at. You need to be able to leverage where you're at and know what to leverage from other people, whether it's time, money, knowledge that you might need to get from somebody else to help you get from where you're at today. Because if you knew how to get there, you would have already done it. If you knew how to get to where you want to go, you would have already been there, right? And so your the reality is, if you set your ego aside and you look in the mirror, every single one of us has limitations that we're dealing with to get to the next level. And whatever level we're trying to get to, we all do. I do, you do, anybody listening to this does. Doesn't matter where you're at in life. You have to set that ego aside and be able to look in the mirror and say, hey, listen, here's the reality of my situation. How can I make it better?
I love it.